Do you wave your terrible towel when Renegade plays? Reach for a tasty cake when JJ shouts, "He scores!" Does the sound of an F1 engine make your heart race? Doing push-ups with a Nittany Lion after a TD? Then lend us an ear, and we will share the exhilaration of Steelers football, the excitement of Flyers hockey, the nail-biting finishes of F1, and the pride when we yell, "We are Penn State." Welcome to the SteelFlyers Show, the strangest combination of sports fandom since pineapple was put on pizza.
Welcome to the SteelFlyers Show, and here's your host, SteelFlyers.
Thank you. Welcome. We know it's been a long time, and thank you for our delightful co-host, RoNece. Thank you for joining us. I know it's been a long time, and we're going to get into some great stuff on this show.
Super Bowl Sunday is just 10 days away, and for the first time, a home field advantage.
NHL is in full swing, and there is so much to get into that we might not cover it all.
Flyers updates, Steelers questions moving forward, and all kinds of great stuff on the show today.
Wow, oh wow. Thank you very much for joining us, RoNece.
Thank you for having me.
We know it's been a little while, but we've had a lot of things happen over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, we just been busy and...
Been really busy, and let's start off by saying this. First of all, we would like to thank our brand new sponsors.
Oh, yeah.
CCC Resorts. You can go to www.cccresorts.com. Check them out. They are a great one-stop shop for all of your pet needs. They do daycare. They do boarding. They have an indoor and an outdoor pool, right?
They also board cats.
Oh, they do cats, too? They also have a full-service grooming?
Yes, they do.
Right? And they do all kinds of, nature walks and all kinds of great things that you can add on to what they do there at the stay and everything like that. So we would
also like that you have the option that if you just want it, you just need one day, you just want to run,
even an hour,
right? You can take and they can go stay with some friends, and then it's not a 2 or 3 day commitment to board your dog.
Yeah, exactly. You can just bring them in for an hour or two so you can go shopping or something and come back. You know what I mean? So they have great options there. So check them out, www.cccresorts. Thank you very much for being our sponsor.
Yes, very much so.
And yeah, so we're looking forward to all kinds of great things with them. Be looking forward to a commercial coming out for them as well, too. So that should be really exciting. All right. So, unfortunately for the Steelers...
I sent you that drawing. The one where the front end of the horse is beautifully drawn and artistically beautiful and nice, beautiful lines, and the back half of the horse is drawn by a kindergartner.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, look, let's face it. There's a lot of things that happened for the Steelers this year. I'm going to try to be as best as I can and being as positive I can with everything that we're going to try and say here, because there are a lot of things that's happened with the Steelers over the last couple of weeks, especially since the end of their season with the loss in the playoffs. Okay, so first of all, I would also like to say congratulations to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and would also like to say congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs. You guys will be suiting it up for the Super Bowl here in about 10 days, so congratulations to both of your teams.
Yeah, I mean, that's answers the question, doesn't it?
Well, we'll get into some of that here in a little bit, but one of the things that I wanted to say about the Steelers is this. I feel that the Steelers this year basically imploded on themselves.
I think there was a lot of factors that went into the implosion, as you say. I think it was an odd year to begin with the whole COVID situation.
Yeah, I get it.
And then we had, we got no break. We basically went through the whole season without a break.
Right.
We had some serious injuries. We had some COVID issues. We had some...
I get it.
Coaching issues.
Okay, right. So that's what we're going to get into right here now, okay? Because we know that the Steelers coaching staff, or what's remaining of it, or what's going to be hired, or whatever the case is going to be, because we have some breaking news on some of that stuff too. So, Coach Tomlin has always talked about situational football, and this year you failed at situational football. Utterly, completely, disgracefully. You failed to lead your team by example. You failed to lead your team by taking hold of things when they were going down the tubes. There were many indications throughout the entire last 3 years that were huge red flags as to why the offensive coordinator should not have been the offensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, but 2 years ago when Ben was out and he didn't play the whole season, you were running the Wildcat.
With quarterbacks that...
And running backs that were not capable of doing...
Well, not that they weren't... It wasn't how they played. It wasn't their style of play. Isn't part of coaching to figure out the style of play that your players are good at?
What do you know? Gosh, look. You heard it here first, folks, right there from RoNece. Look, I didn't even have to say nothing.
Well, I mean,
Why do you have to have a coach who doesn't know to put the right players on the field at the right time?
Or make the right coaching decision?
Why is it 3rd and 12, and the best receivers are trotting off the field, and you got the big heavies coming in like you're going to run the ball, and you run, or you do these little 4-yard little pitch out and up pass. Huh?
How many times do you have to do the same thing before you realize it doesn't work?
Well, obviously, he did it enough times to the point where it got him fired. Unfortunately, it took 3 years for that nail to go into the... anyway. I'm very excited to announce that the Pittsburgh Steelers have hired or promoted from within. Coach Matt Canada is now going to be the offensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers moving forward. I'm very excited about that.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
So we had problems with the OC before, the offensive coordinator.
Yep.
And they're going to bring Matt up. Isn't Matt just another cog in the same system?
No, because he's from outside.
Okay.
Okay, he came from the organization. He came from outside the organization this year.
Okay.
Okay, so this was his first year as quarterbacks coach. I believe he came from the Rams, and that McVay, that whole line of those guys, that coaching like that. He's a young mind. He's supposed to be an offensive guru. You saw flashes of it during the year with some of the misdirection plays that were quite successful with the likes of Chase Claypool and McFarland, and also using Ray and some of those misdirection plays that were able to be successful for the Steelers.
Okay.
That was taking advantage of the talent on the team.
Right.
Okay.
To their strengths.
Go figure. Excuse me, but we have a 39-year-old quarterback on the team, and why is this 39-year-old quarterback, who is coming back from a completely and utterly surgically repaired elbow, throwing the ball 68 times for a playoff game?
Right.
Riddle me that. Riddle me this. Why is it that he's averaging over 40 passes or 40 attempts per game? What? The owner has come down to the coaching staff 5 years in a row and said, "Hey, Mike, we need to have some running game. We gotta have some running game.
How about a running game?
Can we run the ball, Mike? Hey, Mike.
Not on 3rd and 12.
We haven't had a running game in 5 years. We haven't, not really 5 years. We had a running game when we had Le'Veon Bell here, but the fact that Le'Veon Bell is not here and the offensive line is not the same offensive line, and we don't have the same running backs. In fact, the offensive coordinator, I don't think, knows how to tell Ben how to hand the ball off, or even knows how to call a play where you get the center to, or you get the, quarterback to stand under center and have him hike the ball to him.
Not over his head.
Not over his head. And then he takes 1 or 2 steps and then turns and hands the ball off to a running back. Okay. Trying to be positive here.
So, new question.
Okay.
Speaking of our quarterback.
Yeah.
When do you think Ben's going to retire?
Probably after next year.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he's going to come back, especially after what happened last year. When you rattle off the first 11 games, and in spite of how ridiculous those 11 games were, you still won them.
Yeah.
Okay? That is a testament to the talent that's been accumulated on this team. Okay? Now, the problem is that the Steelers have been afforded a lot of talent, especially in the wide receiver area. Especially, I think, personally, in the offensive line as well. I think they've drafted very well offensive line-wise. We had a lot of injuries this year, and there was not a lot of cohesiveness.
No.
In the offensive line, which the offensive line coach was also
we just talked
not
about
retained. No, the offensive line coach as well was not retained.
Okay.
And the Steelers were not going to announce the hiring of Matt Canada until they found an offensive line coach that was going to be in line with the same kind of things that Matt Canada was going to do.
Does Matt Canada...
There's a novel concept for you guys!
Matt Canada had a say in who was hired?
How about that?
Okay.
What do you know? I also think that when ownership starts letting go coaches, kind of being on the hot seat now, Mike, better start putting some sticky Lombardis in the case, or you're going to be looking for a new job.
There were some very questionable decisions this year by Mike Tomlin.
Very questionable?
Well, there. For an
That's
example,
putting it mildly.
For example, you can't go 1 yard, so why not kick the field goal, get the points, and move on? Nope, we're going to keep trying, and then we lose the points and lose the game by 1 field goal.
And that wasn't just one time. Look, I can understand you doing it one time, trying to impose your will and all that. I get it. And I can understand if you do it a second time, because it might be that particular situation in the game or whatever the case is. But when you've done it 3 times, 4 times, and still not able to do it, why are you still doing it?
Right.
I don't get it. Okay. So
Ben retires next year.
Yeah.
Who do we got coming up? Is it going to be a dark season for the Steelers for a while?
Pittsburgh had an opportunity to get Jalen Hurts on this past draft. He was selected by the Philadelphia Eagles. One position after the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jalen Hurts is now the starting quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles. And the fact that we didn't draft that player, or we didn't trade or get, that to me would have been a perfect quarterback for that would have been a great heir apparent for Ben.
Right.
He's got the tools. He's got the mental capabilities and everything like that. I really liked Jalen Hurts in college. He started off as Alabama.
Right.
Okay. But I thought he did really well there in Alabama. And then even when he transferred, I think he did really well there too. And I think that was a great pickup for the Eagles. And I would have really liked to have seen him as a quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Quarterbacks in college for the next 2 years are going to be pretty slim pickings. Okay.
What about what we already have?
Quarterbacks in college over the next 2 years are going to be pretty slim pickings. Okay? Because I'm here to tell you the future quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers is not on the roster as of the end of January 2021. He's not there.
Okay.
Okay? Because Dwayne Haskins ain't it.
I mean,
I'm utterly disappointed in that signing.
I don't understand that at all.
I don't get it. Okay? And the fact that they let Duck go to bring Haskins in. I don't get that. Okay?
I understand letting Duck go, but I don't understand picking somebody who was benched from a terrible team.
That says something about the player if you're on a bad team and you get benched. Okay? There's a lot of character questions that I have going into this selection here, and I'm not entirely 100% happy.
I would have rather had Alex Smith.
Yeah, can we do that trade again? Can we Haskins was released anyway, so there's no trade.
I know.
But here's the thing. I'm all for giving people second chances.
Okay.
Okay? And look, I've been given more than second chances in my life.
Okay.
Okay? So, I'm all for giving people second chances. Okay? I just don't think this was a right fit for the Steelers. I just don't think that the skill set that Haskins, what they think he has, because I don't think he has a skill set that's worthy of being on a professional football team. That's why I'm scratching my head on this.
Okay, I understand maybe as a backup quarterback, but he is not going to be
But Mason has got what?
I've made him change to screeching. He can't even speak, he just screeches.
Thank you very kindly. Look, this just goes to the fact that we're very passionate about the team, and we care a lot about what the product that they're putting out on the field. And look, I have been watching the Steelers for the better part of all my life, and I have seen from Terry Bradshaw to Bubby Brister all the way to Ben Roethlisberger, and I have got every blessed right. Because not only that, but I had my fingers in the dirt for 12 years.
I know.
Okay, and I got every blessed right to question any moves or anything that this team does.
As a fan, you have every right.
That's right. And I don't claim to be an expert.
Okay.
I'm not claiming to be that person. Okay? But over the years, I've watched enough football and seen enough football and played enough football to know
some decisions don't make sense.
Some decisions don't make sense, and this Dwayne Haskins decision for me does not make sense. Because look, here's what's going to happen, okay? And this is the sad truth here about what's going to happen with the Steelers, okay? Pittsburgh is deeply, deeply going to be over the cap.
Right.
Ben Roethlisberger is going to count for $41 million for cap next year.
Right.
Okay. DeCastro is going to count for like 12 million, right? There's rumblings that Pouncey is going to probably hang it up. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but there's rumblings of that. Okay. Juju needs signed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't think we're going to be able to do it.
And I believe there's some other folks, Hilton and on the defense, and there's some other folks on the defense that's going to need to be signed. And I believe Terrell Edmonds is coming to the end of his deal, and a couple other players are also. Look, the Steelers are going to have a little, serious talks here with some things because there's going to be a lot of issues with the cap space and them not being able to have players back.
Right.
And you, as a fan, you're going to have to just deal with the fact that Juju might not be back, DeCastro might not be back. You know what I mean? Some of these players might not be back on the team.
Right.
And you know what I mean? And frankly, I think it's time for DeCastro to move on. His availability over the last couple of years has been sketchy, and his level of play has dropped off a little bit.
You think so?
Yeah, and I think there's younger and better players and cheaper that are ahead of him on the depth chart right now. Okay?
I mean, we do have some depth that if we do lose some players, we do have somebody that can step up.
Right, and I also believe that we've drafted well in the offensive line department as well, too, so... we'll see how that's going to go. Look, the Steelers have lost their offensive coordinator, their offensive line coach, and the defensive backs coach.
Okay.
Okay. And also the tight ends coach. But they did rehire a tight ends coach.
Right.
Okay. And they also, I believe they've hired an offensive line coach. I'm just not sure who that is. Okay. And so we'll try to get that information out there as we can. But... lots of changes coming for the Steelers, and next year's not going to be quite the same. Next year, that's going to be for sure.
I hope not.
No. And so while we're on the NFL, why don't we dive into the fact that for the first time, we have a home field advantage for the Super Bowl combatants.
I know. I can't believe this is the first time after all the Super Bowls that this is the first time.
Well, that's only because it's a Florida team.
Right.
Because let's face it.
Well, I mean, you've got Dallas, you've got, 4 teams in California at one point. I mean, there's been a lot of warm weather states that have had the Super Bowl and a team, so...
Arizona being one of them, but in Arizona, the team was never good enough to make it to the Super Bowl.
Right.
Okay. And in L.A., same things that were going on in L.A. Whenever the games were in L.A., the team that was playing in California wasn't good enough to make it to the Super Bowl.
Right.
So this is the second time for Tampa Bay making it to the Super Bowl. This is also a back-to-back showing here for Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City Chiefs. And this is going to be probably one of those great matchups here.
You think so?
Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes.
Well, you see, the question always was with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick was, are the Patriots a good team, a winning team, because Bill Belichick's a good coach, or because Tom Brady's a good quarterback, or is it a combination of both? And I still think it's a combination of both, even though Tom Brady is now taking the Bucs to the Super Bowl.
Here's how you look at it, okay? New England has nobody. They have no running game. They have no receivers. They have some defense. They have some defense. They only picked him up because he was available.
Right.
You know what I mean? Let's face it, the rest of the quarterbacks that are up there in New England, who?
Yeah.
Right. When you lose a guy like Tom Brady, you don't just replace him the next year. It's going to take some time for that to happen.
Right.
Okay, and when you finish at the Super Bowl on a regular basis, you don't get top draft picks. You don't get number one draft picks like that. You know what I mean? So they're going to have to be at the bottom for a couple of years before they're going to be able to start getting some more draft picks. Look, Bill Belichick has done a lot of work with the team to get them to where they've been and everything like that. I also think that I would have liked to have seen Tom Brady dropped into someplace like Detroit or Cincinnati
or the Browns. Although the Browns had a really good season.
Right. But do you understand what I'm trying to tell you?
Yeah.
Okay. He got dropped into a situation down in Tampa Bay where they have a really good defense, and they've had a really good defense even before Bruce Arians came. Tampa Bay always relatively had a pretty darn good defense. Okay. They've always had really good defensive players. Their offense was a little bit suspect. Okay. But now they've got some receivers. They got some people down there. They got a running game, right? And then all they needed was a guy that can sling the ball around for them. Right. And let's face it. Anything is an improvement over Jameis Winston down there. Okay? So, seriously, they could have sent Mason Rudolph down there, and they could have probably led him to the
yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say? Look, I'm not trying to take anything away from the fact that, he was part of the reason why they made it to the Super Bowl. Yes, of course. Okay? But it's not just him.
Right.
Okay? And it's never just about the quarterback, and it's never just about the coach. It's about the team. You can have a perfect season as far as a record-wise, but it's never a perfect season as far as everything else is concerned.
Right.
So
this Super Bowl is going to be old guard versus the new guard.
Go Chiefs.
Got, Tom Brady, who's at the end of his career, and you got Patrick Mahomes,
Two touchdowns.
At the
2 touchdowns.
Beginning.
Yep. 2 touchdowns.
What about 2 touchdowns?
Yeah. Whatever the score is going to be, it's going to be two touchdowns. So Kansas City's going to win by 14 points.
Okay.
Yep.
I didn't understand the reference.
Yep. I think Kansas City's offense is too much for Tampa Bay's defense, and I think that Tampa Bay's defense, Kansas City's defense, is going to be having Tom Brady running all over the field. And Tom Brady doesn't run, so.
No.
Going to be interesting to see if Antonio Brown makes it to the game. He was not there for the championship game due to injury on an ankle. So if he is cleared to play, we will get a Le'Veon Bell versus a Antonio Brown Super Bowl. So there you go.
You know how I feel about Antonio Brown, But I'm very happy in a way for him that he's getting better. That he seems to be making progress to being a normal human being again.
And we're judging that on the fact that we haven't heard any stories about him wigging out or flipping out or anything else like that. So, all right, yeah, that's an improvement. Like I said, the league is all about multiple chances. And like I said in the beginning, I've been given multiple chances, so I can't begrudge anybody who's been given a chance. I knew that once things were going to get straightened out, that we were going to see him on the field because...
I still don't like him. He's not a person that I have...
Yeah, I'm not going to associate with him or anything like that.
He's not, like, important,
but you can't deny the fact
that
he's an all-world talent when it comes to catching the ball. And although I think the last 2 years have basically stunted him to the point now where it doesn't matter how many more years he plays... I don't think he's ever going to be at the same level that he was when he was with the Steelers. And even at that point, he would have had to have continued on for at least the next 4 years in a row to even be considered to be Hall of Famer, you know what I mean? To be in that same... If he would have continued on with the Steelers and everything like that and just continued on in those last couple of years, then I think he would be a first ballot Hall of Famer. But now the fact that he's had that whole time away and everything like that, and he's a much different person now and a much different player, and he's...
Well, like, maybe he'll keep improving personally and...
As long as he improves personally, that's all that matters.
Right.
Okay, he's probably not going to make the Hall of Fame or anything like that now, but as long as he improves as a person and he can be able to be a contributing member of society, then bonus.
Yep.
So good on him. Way to go. Cool. All right. This is where I like to get into it right here, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, sucky. So, last night we got to enjoy a rather beautiful game by the Philadelphia Flyers.
Yes, we needed that game.
And the New Jersey Devils. And I'm going to say this. I have been blown away by how well New Jersey has played this year. With preseason prognostications not looking very good for New Jersey based off of their goalie situations. Blackwell being very big, huge question, or Blackwood being huge question marks with him being in goal. Would Hughes, Heischer, and the rest be able to gel and everything like that? Heischer's been out here for the last couple for some injuries, but New Jersey has been on the tear, and they have taken down teams with the likes of New York Islanders, okay, and the Rangers, and so
didn't they beat Buffalo too?
Yeah, okay, but so New Jersey.
Yeah.
Not quite the slouch team that we were expecting this year.
No. I don't think, honestly, I'm sorry if I'm interrupting you.
No, you're not.
I think every team in our division is probably one of the better teams of the league.
All the way across the board, I'd have to agree with you, yeah. Pretty much all the way across the board, because New Jersey is definitely... Look, if New Jersey was in any other of the other leagues, or any of the other divisions, they would be, right up there at the top, right? Okay. So that's the thing, okay, and that's where we're going to get some of this craziness. You know what I mean? And I'm really liking the divisions. I'm really liking the back-to-back plays. I'm really liking the little mini series that they're having with each team. You go up there and play 2 games, and then you go on to the next group and play another couple of games.
Right.
So the next game for the Philadelphia Flyers is going to be against New Jersey. So yeah, I'm definitely down with that. Familiarity breeds contempt.
Right.
And I'm all for that. And was very impressed by how Gostisbehere looked coming back from COVID.
Right. I mean...
Wow.
I think he's trying to prove that he needs to be on the team.
I think that's a great point that I was exactly going to say that you kind of just took it right from my mouth, but I'm going to build on that point by saying this. He looks like he has bought into AV's system.
Yeah.
The way he played last night looks like he's bought in. He's had 2 little flubs. He had 2 little flubs there where he kind of gave the puck up a little bit there.
Everybody does that.
But he was trying to make a play.
Yeah.
But he was able to get back and skate back to nullify that turnover.
Right.
Or be part of the nullification of that turnover. Okay, so that's what impressed me. Okay? Yeah, if you make a mistake, okay, but can you get back to nullify or correct?
Right.
And he was. And had some good shots on goal, played really, really well. I was very impressed. For the first time since AV has been coached, or since AV has coached this team, the Flyers have lost back-to-back games.
Okay.
Okay. Against Boston.
Right.
Those 2 games are against Boston. Gave up a lot of goals. Okay. Carter Hart slammed a stick.
Yeah, here's my question about Carter Hart. Does he have the yips?
Nope.
You think he'll be back?
I know he will. It has nothing to do with Carter Hart.
What does it have to do with?
The team in front of him. The defense or lack thereof in front of him. It's like we're watching the playoffs from the bubble. Mm-hmm. Right? It's like Philadelphia plays just well enough to get the score, and then after they get the score, then it's like they kind of just hang back, and then you can't allow opposition to have point-blank shots on your goalie all game long.
Right.
You can't allow your goalie to be facing 30, 40 shots a game.
No matter how good your goalie is.
Exactly. I don't care. You could have Marty Brodeur back there. Patrick Waugh. You're facing that amount of shots every night. Some of them are going to go in.
Right.
And especially when he's screened, that's the biggest thing. Why can't we have some players clear the porch? I'm so sick and tired of seeing our players get run over and run into and pushed aside.
Yeah.
We're 7 games in now.
Okay.
Right? And that's all I've seen. We're being out-hit.
Yeah.
For the most part. There was 1 or 2 games there, I think, where we were the hit leader. I think that was the Buffalo game. The one Buffalo game, right, where we out-hit them. And when we are getting hit, we're getting destroyed. Like, guys are running into us and just plicking us off. Like, oh, okay, plink. No. See, that's not how you win battles against the boards. That's not how you win puck battles.
So you're saying they need to be more aggressive?
More physical.
More physical.
More... Go to the weight room.
Lift
some weights. Pick things up and put things down. I'm not kidding. I mean, what? This is the problem when you have diminutive players on your team.
Right, which they're
quite a plethora.
I was going to say they're picked for speed and finesse, but you still have to have some players that can...
It's all great and fast and speedy until you hit that wall.
Yeah.
Well, then what? Now you're just a crumpled mess laying there on the ice. You're not so scory now, are you?
Yeah.
Hey, whatever. I'm saying this. Philadelphia needed that game. They played much better defensively. They played a much better 200-foot game. There were some spots during the game where, you could see they were just gliding around, going back to old habits. I have a hard time with that. I have a hard time with the fact that Justin Braun still has to be in the lineup.
Why?
Because I think he's slow, and I don't think he fits in the top line playing with some of the people that he's playing with.
Who would you rather have?
Oh, gosh, I would take Sam Moran there all day long.
Okay.
I know they're trying to move him to wing, but what? He plays D 6'7". Bring the kid. They got Friedman is playing now, who's playing okay. I mean, he looked really well the other night, You can't lose Coots, a Selke award-winning player, and then the guy that replaces him, Frost, right? And then Myers, one of our top D-men. Well, those are 3 key cogs where you can't just lose those guys and then expect, okay, the next guy up, and what do you mean we lost?
Right.
Hey, what do you mean? Got to weather that storm there a little bit. So
I mean, it's still early in the season, so
it's the inconsistencies. Okay, look, I understand that a lot of people all the teams have not had preseason games, and all the teams have not had short training camps, and I get it.
And there's been some injuries because of that.
Right. And the Flyers are definitely one of the teams that are, in that boat
Right.
that are feeling those injuries. Okay. And then you're also having the COVID is running through. Dallas wasn't able to play their first couple of games. They've just now played their first 2 games now.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there's been, rotations now where Carolina had to cancel some game or postpone some games.
Right, because of COVID.
Because of COVID, right? I believe that there was I can't think of the other team that had the entire coaching staff was down, and they had to have the general manager had to be on the bench as the coach because the coaching staff was down with COVID.
Right.
I mean, you're gonna have this kind of stuff.
Speaking of COVID, how about the Capitals players that decided to have a party in their room?
Do you know what's really sad? Right? Their best players, Ovechkin, their goalie, they had 4 players that had to sit for 4 games.
Right.
Because of that. Okay? So hope it was worth it. And the team was also fined $100,000. Good on you. That's cheap.
Yeah.
Comparatively, The fact that they willingly did that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have a hard time with that they willingly did that. You already know what the protocols are. You already know what's going on. What?
And their apology was very snarky, too.
And you guys are professionals.
Right.
You guys are people that we look up to in the league. I mean, you're the Ovechkin.
Right.
What?
No, Ovechkin.
Whatever. I don't. Okay. There's been some places where fans have been allowed. Florida, Dallas, or Florida, Texas, Arizona. Oh, there was another place too. Carolina, I think, was the other, or one of the other ones. Yeah. But there was a couple places that were allowing some fans in the stands.
Yeah.
Okay. And look, the NHL is driven by butts in the seat.
Well, that's where a lot of their income comes from.
Exactly. If you look at the TV contract between the NFL and the NHL, and you look at the TV contracts that, the NHL gets, I think we sat down and figured it out, it's like, what, $12 million a team, and then you have to cut that in half because half of that money goes to the players.
Right.
Right? So, $6 million a team from the TV contracts. Okay? Minus the players and all that, so each team gets $6 million.
That's not a lot of money.
That doesn't even pay all of Giroux's salary cap for one season.
I know. Whoever thought that $6 million would sound like, that's not a lot.
That doesn't even pay. That only pays for 2/3 of Bobrovsky's contract for the year. Okay, so how's that for perspective for you? Conversely, the NFL gets $250 million per team per year. That's already minus the player sharing and all that other stuff. That's what the NFL...
It's the fan base that's driving that, though.
No, it's the TV contracts.
Well, that's why...
I think there's just as many fans of NHL as there is of NFL. The thing is that the NFL is built on a model where it's more advantageous for you as a fan to watch it on TV.
Okay.
And so if you watch and you look, it costs a lot of money to go to a game.
Either one.
No, just a football game.
Yeah.
Okay. The average football ticket is $200. Okay. So for 2 people to go to a game, okay, you could be spending anywhere from $500 to $600, including food, maybe a T-shirt, a program,
right?
A pretzel or something, right? And then, getting to and from the game and all other stuff. That's not the case when you go to a hockey game.
No. Not if you sit in the family section.
Well, even if you get the top end tickets are only $150, $160, $170.
Right.
That's sitting right there next to the ice. That's a big difference. But here's the thing. Football only plays 16 games. Hockey plays 82 games.
Right.
Right? Football stadiums are 65,000 people. Hockey stadiums are 19,000 people. Right?
On average.
On average. All right. So,
some are bigger than others.
But think about it. Every single dollar that comes into the football concessions and their stadium and all that stuff is strictly, that's just rolling money for the owners. Because has nothing to do with the TV contracts or the rights or nothing. Okay? So that's just straight money that goes to the owners. Well, everything that has to do with concessions and ownership and all that stuff in the NHL, that's what keeps the teams rolling. That's what pays the guys' salaries. Because obviously it ain't coming from the TV contracts.
Nope.
You know what I mean? So I really think that there has to be some shifts here that need to happen, and they need to allow fans to be in the stands.
When it's
for
safe.
Hockey. Okay. There's a vaccine, right?
Yes, but
okay, and so the whole idea was that the vaccine was going to be out there and everybody could get the vaccine.
It's not going to be an immediate thing.
And that everybody could get the vaccine, and that hopefully by sometime in the spring or the summer that we could be attending games again and kind of going out to eat without sitting in a bubble or, whatever. So all those things remain to be seen.
Right. I mean, we've learned something from this whole experience with COVID is that we can't really count on the future. We don't actually know what's going to happen. So take it day by day.
One day at a time. You know what I mean? So the fact that we actually get to have hockey, the fact that we got football, the fact that we got college football, the fact that
NBA
that Alabama was actually crowned champion again. Okay. So everything seems pretty normal. I saw a T-shirt, right, that had it was an Alabama T-shirt that said National Champions, and then it had that hello, my name is. Right, that little sticky thing, right? Well, they had a little eraser thing on the shirt, so you could just write in the year.
Right.
So every year you just erase that and put the new year in. Yeah, right? So.
And we only have to buy one T-shirt.
You only have to buy one T-shirt. So thankful for the fact that we're getting some sports back. Thankful for the fact that the NBA is back. They're playing. They're dealing with the same kind of things that the NHL is. Their TV contracts are a little bit more lucrative than the NHL.
Right.
Okay. Way more lucrative than the NHL. But a lot of their stuff is based off the fact that there's 82 games a season and there's 19 or 20,000 folks that can fit in those basketball arenas because they play in the same places that the hockey guys do, and they sell out every night. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that's helps to put money in the coffers for the NBA as well too. Also, oh my gosh,
what?
This is something that I'm very excited to see more of this.
Okay.
The National Women's Hockey League.
That's something I'm interested in.
That is exciting. They started playing games here on the 24th.
Okay.
Right? And they created a little bubble, right? Where they're going to play from the 24th, I think, until like the first week of February. Okay. Yeah, so they're going to, I think it's like a 2-week tournament kind of thing, right?
Okay.
And it's kind of I guess it's a test run, maybe, I guess. I don't care.
Let's see it. Let's have it.
I don't care. Let's see it. Are you listening, NBC? Are you listening out there? We want to see some of these games, okay? Hockey is a awesome sport.
For everybody.
For everybody, okay? Not just for men, but for women. Okay, and for everybody.
Right.
Okay, it's a great sport. It's a great way to bond with teammates. It's a great way to, do great things and stuff like that. So hockey's a great sport, and we like to, see, especially these kinds of things happening, especially seeing that the women are getting the recognition that they so richly deserve, because I really enjoy watching women's hockey, especially Olympics. Yeah. I love watching their tournaments. You know what I mean? When the U.S. women's hockey team comes out, I am all down for that. Right. Okay? I love watching their game because their game is much more of a skill, much more of a finesse game, because they're not out there banging bodies.
Well, they do, but not quite as much.
Right. They're going to poke check you or stick check you instead of body check you to get the puck off of you. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. So it's more of a skill and a finesse game with the women. You know what I mean? And to watch them women out there gliding around like that and making those awesome tic-tac-toe plays. Oh, my gosh. It's amazing! Can you tell I like it? Can you tell?
We enjoy it.
It's very enjoyable. It's an awesome game, especially when teams are very evenly matched. You know, when you watch some of the Olympic games, it's like you watch the United States team play against Japan. And it's like 21-3, you know, and it's like, okay, not the best game to watch.
Go USA.
But yeah, right, you know what I mean. So, just very excited about the fact that we do have a women's hockey league now, and they are playing, and it's awesome. I'm just excited about that.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get that out there as well, too. It looks like also some more awesome news.
Yeah.
The AHL is going to be starting on the weekend of the 5th or 6th. So we are going to have AHL games. So that means minor leagues are going to be starting up here.
Nice.
Things have changed a lot now because of the fact that a lot of leagues have canceled or suspended because of COVID and things like that. So a lot of the junior leagues haven't been playing. Some of the European ones have been playing. Okay. But some of the other leagues have opted out, or some other teams have opted out, or whatever the case is, because of COVID and whatever the case is. But we're going to have AHL hockey is going to be coming back here in the beginning of February.
That's exciting.
That is very exciting because that gives more players an opportunity to be on the ice and playing.
Exactly, and getting that experience that AHL players don't necessarily get if they're not playing.
Exactly, because right now the NHL has the taxi squad guys. And those guys skate with the team and travel with the team, but they don't play.
Right.
And that has to be, and they're those players that are considered the black aces, or, you know, they're all NHL ready players, ready to go, ready to step in at a moment's notice. But they need to put them on waivers in order to send them to the taxi squad.
Right.
Well, so I'm thinking that once the AHL is back, that maybe they'll waive that and they won't have to put them on waivers. They'll just be able to send them back down to the minors.
Because they're playing.
Because they're playing, right? And so, but I'm wondering if they're going to change things where, if in order to come back up, if you still have to pass and still get 3 negative tests, you know, in the span of 72
I'm sure
hours or
they're going to have to follow
some
COVID.
kind of protocol, yeah. So, okay. Going to be interesting to see how that all shakes down when the AHL begins playing, and I'm really excited to see that starting up again, too. So that's awesome news for that. Awesome news for the NHL rolling into their, you know, we're getting ready to be done here with the first month almost.
I know. It doesn't seem like... The games seem, because they're so close together, they seem like, you know, like bam, 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 there's always a game.
How about Vancouver playing 7 games in 10 nights and winning 3 games? Hey, all right. You know what I mean?
So,
big shock also from Montreal in the north.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, my gosh, man. They have been playing lights out. You know, we were expecting Montreal to be a little suspect. They had a lot of turnover this year and things like that, but they've been playing lights out. Of course, now they got Carey Price up there, so, I mean, you know. Hey!
So I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I have 2 questions for you.
Roll away.
I saw a headline today that Savannah is going to have a team. They've been approved for an expansion. What do you think about that?
Which, for hockey?
For hockey, yeah. You didn't know? Oh my gosh, I beat him on something. we have this conversation all the time. I'll like, oh, I just saw this. And he's like, yeah, I already knew about that.
Really? They've been approved.
Wait, let me pull it up. Let me make sure.
Oh, man. That means another supplemental draft.
Yep.
Ugh. You guys are killing us. Oh, it's ECHL.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not...
It's not hockey. It's not NHL.
Well, it's not NHL, but ECHL is a start.
Okay.
Okay, because that's the Eastern Conference Hockey League.
Okay.
Okay, it's one of the minor leagues.
Okay.
So having a team back in Georgia again. Okay, because there was a team there called the Atlanta Thrashers.
Okay.
Okay, right? And I believe there was a team back in the early 70s as well, too. And I think that's where the Flames started.
Okay.
Calgary Flames, I think they started off as the Atlanta Flames or something like that. I can't remember which. Yeah, that's awesome to have hockey in Georgia.
Well, it's a step towards getting an NHL team, correct?
Well, it's a good step in the right direction. Let's put it that way. Okay? Yeah, it's a step in the right direction for that.
Okay.
For sure. You know what I mean? So, that's awesome, though. Congratulations to Savannah for getting a team. That's really good. That means that ECHL is going to be rolling, too, because having those minor leagues is going to be good. You know?
Yeah, they're going to start playing in 2022, so the Savannah team.
The Savannah team. Okay. Yeah, the Seattle Kraken, they'll be playing next season.
Right.
So after this season, and after the cup is awarded and all that other stuff, then they'll do the draft and then the supplemental draft where players that are not protected on each of the 31 NHL teams, the Seattle Kraken will get an opportunity to select from your bevy of players that will be available to them.
I have my other question, and you might want to cover your ears because he's going to yell a little bit. Do you think Giroux should not be captain of the Flyers?
What?
Yeah. Do you think it's time for him to step aside and let somebody else be captain?
What?
Yeah, I said that. I've left him speechless.
I can't believe you asked me that question.
I'm just wondering what your opinion is on that.
I have no opinion. There is no opinion.
There's no opinion
There's
about
no
that?
opinion on that. Giroux is captain of the Philadelphia Flyers. End of discussion.
Really?
End of discussion.
Okay.
Okay? I had some doubts when he was first made captain of the team. Because he's not that rah-rah guy. He's not that guy out in the media throwing microphones and water jugs and all that other stuff. And that's cool. Okay? That's cool. He's one of those quiet types that leads by example. Okay? And those are the ones that are the best ones. Okay?
Okay.
So, I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody thinks. Until Claude Giroux is no longer playing for the Philadelphia Flyers, he's captain.
Okay.
You got anything else?
No.
You want to throw anything else at me? That was ridiculous. Claude Giroux not being captain of the team. What?
I just wanted your opinion.
No, there is no opinion. I have no opinion.
It's just this.
It just is, right. Claude Giroux is captain of the team. That's just the way it is.
Okay.
Okay. We are seeing Coots could be coming sooner, hopefully. I mean, they said he was going to be 2 to 6 weeks. We were thinking more along the lines of 4. So we're getting close to that.
Yay!
We're not sure about what the deal is with Frost. He's out for probably another little while with a separated shoulder. And then Myers is out indefinitely, so who knows what's going to be up with him with his rib injury or whatever the case is. So we've had the co-host, Asti, has joined us.
Hi, your pupper.
She's getting scritches, and she likes scritches, so... Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
well,
she heard me ask that question about Giroux and came in to protect me.
Make sure that everything was okay, yeah. All right, so I have a question for you. Okay. Do you think that the Steelers are going to make the playoffs next year or miss the playoffs next year?
I think it's going to depend on the health of Ben. If Ben is healthy, I think we'll make the playoffs. If Ben is not healthy, then it's going to be iffy.
All right. I like that answer. Okay. I do not think we're going to make the playoffs next year.
You have to consider the fact that the Browns are getting better.
That's why I don't think we're going to make it.
Now, the Ravens, they were kind of hit or miss
this year. They dropped off a little bit there towards the end of the year, but they also were facing a lot of injuries and COVID and everything else, too. So,
but it's going to depend. There's so many things that play into that. Like, are we going to have a normal training camp? Are we going to have, a normal season? Are we going to still be dealing with COVID? I mean, I'm not sure.
COVID is never going to go away.
My answer.
COVID is here forever. Okay? So people just need to start dealing with that fact. Okay? We're never going to get to a zero. There's no normal anymore. Okay? It's just the fact that it's one of those things that is just added to the list. You're just going to have to deal with. Okay? Like the flu, like the cold, like whatever else. Okay? Just one of them things, just going to have to deal with it. Okay? Because it's never going to go away.
Okay.
Okay? So, until, in my opinion, until people realize that, you know what I mean? Until they realize that this is, you can't, what they're trying to do is not working. You know what I mean? So, COVID is not going to go away. And you're never going to get to a zero number with this.
Okay, but it'll be under control.
Well, just like with everything else that's happened, polio was virtually eradicated. Smallpox was virtually eradicated. Right? Polio was virtually eradicated.
You said that.
Okay, I'm sorry. The plague was eradicated. I mean, all these things were eradicated, virtually.
Well, we're not getting into that history.
Right, because of therapies and medicines and all kinds of other things that have happened. Okay? But look at what happened with this thing. The fact that there's a vaccine in less than a freaking year. That, to me, is amazing.
That is amazing.
Okay? What?
I did read something, and we shouldn't be talking about COVID, but we are, that the original, when they first started creating the vaccine, the first vaccine was easy. They knew exactly what to do. The problem, the reason it took so much longer was because they had to make it work on all the other mutations that were coming.
And all of the other factors of people.
Right.
Because this person weighs 110 pounds, right? But this person weighs 210 pounds. Well, you can't give them the same dose as you're giving this person because they weigh twice as much.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
let's go back to talk about sports.
Yeah. But anyway, so you hear that? Talking about sports. Speaking of sports, congratulations to the Flyers on their win last night. Going to be an interesting game tomorrow against the same New Jersey team.
Right, because New Jersey's pissed now.
Yeah. And that's going to be one of those games I'm going to be looking forward to. Yeah, for sure. We do a show called Off the Wall Hockey on Friday where we break down all these great things with the NHL. We talk about all the NHL. And that's a great show that we do with John. And we talk about the 3 stars of the week and some of the other great things that we talk about too. And I really look forward to doing that show because it gives us an opportunity to talk about everything that's going on in the NHL, talk about the hottest games and the hottest matchups. You know what I mean? That kind of great stuff. Man, also check it out. NHL Pearl of Wisdom. Going live every day, man.
Look for the bow tie.
Look for the bow tie, man. There will be frolic. Because he will give you all of the great up-to-date NHL information that you need right there. He'll go over all the games from the previous night. You know what I mean? So that happens on a daily basis. So that's one of the other shows that we've got added to our network. Be looking for the Sports Fanatic News. We just premiered the blurb on that one, so that show should be jumping off here in the next week or so.
Nice.
Hopefully. That's starring the Professor, Joe Boric. So yeah, that's another great one we got rolling out.
That man just knows so much about hockey.
I know, gosh. And then of course the Hockey Writers Inc.
Right, with Lance.
Do that with Lance Green. We do that on Saturdays, and Bleacher Report's 13 weeks in a row on that one. So yeah, and that's really exciting. And then all of this stuff is put out on Spreaker. So it's out on the podcasting world, and we do videos, and now we have all this stuff on the podcasting world and stuff. So it's great. We love it, and we couldn't do it without you guys. We couldn't do it without your listeners, and we thank you all very much.
Thank you.
So with that, I think we're going to call this one. We've had a great show. We talked about a lot of great things. And I'm sorry that it took us a little while to get back to you.
We will be on a much more consistent basis from now on.
Yep. We also would like to say this, too. Thank you very much for CCC Resorts being our first sponsor. Check them out on the web at www.cccresorts.com. They are a one-stop shop for all of your pet needs, for daycare, for boarding, for grooming, and swimming. Outdoor and indoor pool. How about that?
Yeah. I love the outdoor pool when it's warm enough.
Co-host is
RoNece.
And this is your host, SteelFlyers. Thanks for joining us. Just remember, folks, stay safe, stay strong, and hang tough.